What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman, aka All Fires. Now, there's definitely a twinge in the air, and I'm not talking about fall, rather the very real and very palpable hype when we're closing in on a brand new huge Marvel movie. In this case, Avengers 5 Doomsday is the one that we're talking about. Now, I hadn't even been up for about 15 minutes this morning before I realized I had a ton of DMs on Instagram from you guys, basically all linking the same article from yesterday's productionlist.com posting that included brand new details for Avengers 5 Doomsday, and not only a new production schedule, but some very interesting cast details that sort of change the scope of who's going to star in this film. We're breaking down all the latest reveals as they were posted, again, officially to productionlist.com, and what they're saying about the upcoming Avengers 5 production schedule and cast. But first, if you could hit the subscribe button. We do daily Marvel content at the channel, and that's all we do. So if that sort of thing's for you, hit the sub button, leave a comment down below. That automatically enters you to win our ongoing PS5 giveaway. If you want, stick around at the end of the video. We get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Now, if you're not familiar with productionlist.com, they're a lot like Production Weekly. They're not an editorial or meant to break scoops. Rather, and in their own words, quote, productionlist.com is film and TV's production tracking service offered by the Film and Television Industry Alliance. Our office works with major film and TV studios, tracking pre-production announcements of roughly 20 to 40 new projects weekly. Our members have access to the industry's most comprehensive database of production contracts and receive weekly and daily production job announcements. So the whole reason the listings on this site exist is to be able to connect people who work in the film industry in a myriad of positions with these movie studios and early on in the pre-production process so that they can find work. And real talk, it wouldn't be helping anybody out if the information that was posted here wasn't accurate. Now, just 2 days ago on September 23rd, they last updated Avengers Doomsday and listed the shoot date as March 31st, 2025 in London, UK. Now, interestingly enough, we had heard this wouldn't start until next summer. March 31st is still heading into the summer, but basically gives it an April start date and a little bit earlier than we had thought in the spring. Now, that's important because it was also revealed, and again via production list for a different project in Spider-Man 4, that that's actually going to start shooting in January, right around the corner, and that Tom Holland is suspected to be leads in both of those films, both Spider-Man 4 right into Avengers Doomsday. But interestingly enough, there are some other cast members listed in the project summary for Avengers Doomsday, and maybe they weren't what you were expecting. It says Avengers Doomsday is expected to be directed by Anthony and Joe Russo, which was already confirmed and announced, with Vanessa Kirby, Edmund Moss-Backrack, Joseph Quinn, and Pedro Pascal starring. The plot is under wraps. And the only other cast member that was listed by name, of course, was Robert Downey Jr., and he was at the bottom under the cast listing, which also included 3 out of the 4 Fantastic Four as starring in the film. So even though it's an Avengers title, Avengers Doomsday, it certainly sounds like it's going to be a direct extension of what we see in the upcoming Fantastic Four film next year. And again, even though it'll be under the Avengers title, the Fantastic Four are obviously going to play a prominent role, as they're the only cast members that are listed and for certain so far. Now, this is a far cry from 2 writers ago when Jeff Loveness was still helming the script and the film was called Kang Dynasty, and he point blank said in an interview he probably wouldn't be including the Fantastic Four in the script, which, trust me, at the time had a lot of people scratching their heads because aren't these supposed to be the huge crossover films? But I think that this is even further contextualization of just how important the plot to the Fantastic Four is, and the chances we're going to be introduced to Doctor Doom and during that film. It feels like the setup is inevitable, and they're not only using Avengers Doomsday to set up Avengers Secret Wars, but they're using the Fantastic Four and presumably Spider-Man 4 to set up Avengers Doomsday, which really paints a picture of a Marvel Studios that, when they pivoted off Kang Dynasty, was able to come together and use the projects that they've got left to start building the cohesive Avengers Secret Wars story. And I would argue that there have been projects, again, like Loki Season 2 or even the most recent Deadpool and Wolverine, who have gone a long way in establishing some of the rule sets for that shoot. Even the post-credit scene for the Marvels left a lot of wonder and what's going to happen with that timeline. But the thing that Marvel has been missing, one of the legitimate gripes, has been how wide they went through Phase 4 and basically just meandered sideways, not really tying any of this together. We're finally on that slide now, and it's super exciting. I really feel like, though, that the major takeaway from this is that Robert Downey Jr. is most likely going to be in the Fantastic Four. I know that they've included Galactus and a ton of the other rogues gallery for the Fantastic Four, and they haven't really really made a lot of it. But there was a quote by the director Matt Shakman who admitted that he had known that Robert Downey Jr. was cast as Dr. Doom, and for 6 months to a year before that announcement, and how hard it was to hold on to that secret. The only reason that Matt Shakman would know that Robert Downey Jr. had been cast as Dr. Doom is if he was a part of his film. They generally will only let people in on what they're doing when they have to. It's basically a need-to-know basis. And so I think that one quote right there reveals Robert Downey Jr.'s Dr. Doom will be a part of what's going on with the Fantastic Four, because I think it's pretty obvious if it's setting it up and the Fantastic Four are going to be a part of that plot, it's just going to basically be a prequel movie, which is interesting enough because really when Jonathan Hickman was writing into 2015's Avengers Secret Wars, the model that we think a lot of the details for the movies are going to come from, he basically wrote that story all the way through the Fantastic Four leading up to it. So it's just now that in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they're going to do the same thing with that team. And look, the other huge takeaway here might be that they're going to focus on all the best characters. Even though it's an Avengers title, we're going to get a ton of other teams like the Fantastic Four. But I think there might be some speculation that's worth having now on whether or not Dr. Doom's storyline will get explored and during Spider-Man 4. I think we've all been focusing on Null and Null destroying the SSU and Venom crossing over with Spider-Man 4, but if they're going to include Dr. Doom in the Fantastic Four, and then Doomsday is right behind that, wouldn't it make sense, and in the aftermath of the Fantastic Four film, which we think we're going to see them make their way into the 616, that perhaps Spider-Man would delve into Dr. Doom as well? Look, he's a villain that definitely deserves as much film exploration as possible. The opposite of basically what they did with Thanos. Give him multiple films to flourish in, because if he does end up becoming God Emperor Doom in Avengers Secret Wars, we shouldn't just get Dr. Doom and then ultimately see one of his highest power level sets. Like, we should get a lot of Dr. Doom, so perhaps he's the villain for Spider-Man 4 ? We'll have to wait and see what plot details end up saying about that as we get closer to filming. But you guys let me know all your thoughts down below. How hype are you for this film, especially now knowing the Fantastic Four will be a part of it? And do you like my theory that Dr. Doom might actually be the villain in Spider-Man 4 as well? I am all ears as always. Let me know your thoughts down below. We are still doing a watch party for Agatha All Along tonight. So if you guys are staying up to watch episode 3, tune in at the channel around 8 p.m., about an hour Eastern Standard Time before it goes live. We're also still giving away PlayStation 5s at the channel, and just will continue to do that until the PlayStation 5 Pro comes out. The next one is the finale of Agatha All Along in about a month. If you want to be entered to win or for any of the other future giveaways here at the channel, all the same rules will always apply. Hit the subscribe button because you need to be a subscriber, then leave a comment down below. Because it's truly random, the more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. All winners will be announced at the end of videos in the same segment that we're doing here, live with my voice and the winning comment shown on screen. The best way to keep up with the content has always been to hit the notification bell with all notifications turned on. And as always, if you like today's video, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the like button. My name's Michael Roman. You can find me in a couple of places, Instagram and Twitter at IamFires. You can also find me on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Apple, iTunes, wherever you listen to original music under the name AllFires. And while I sincerely appreciate you checking my music out, thanks for checking this channel out. Stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.